crap together. But for now, let's move on to the next story, and that is Biden pardoning thousands for marijuana possession. And I want to clarify this.
But did he?
This
Is it
is for
really?
simple possession. Well,
Yeah.
it is, Anna. I researched this because even when he went on, I was like, uh, I'm sorry. With Trump, I know he's lying. Oh, I know there's a catch. With Biden, I'm just always like, you've been in here for a long time. So when you say stuff, I want to know your when Trump does his stuff, it literally is, yeah, because I'm doing this, yeah, because I'm cutting taxes because, yeah, because it helps millionaires and billionaires. I know what Trump is doing. I did this because when Biden is like, I'm doing this because I know it's going to get us this. I'm not going to tell you it's going to get us this. And by the time you figure out what he wanted, it's already done. This actually will shock you, though. Not a trick in it. Not a trick. In case everybody don't understand what I'm saying, let's hear it from Joe Biden himself.
As I said when I ran for president, no one should be in jail just for using or possessing marijuana. It's already legal in many states, and criminal records for marijuana possession have led to needless barriers to employment, to housing, to educational opportunities. And that's before you address the racial disparities around who suffers the consequences. While white and black and brown people use marijuana at similar rates, black and brown people are arrested, prosecuted, and convicted at disproportionately higher rates. So today, I'm taking 3 steps to end this failed approach. First, I'm announcing a pardon for all prior federal offenses for the simple possession of marijuana. There are thousands of people who are convicted for marijuana possession who may be denied employment, housing, or educational opportunities as a result of that conviction. My pardon will remove this burden on them. Second, I'm calling on all governors to do the same for state marijuana possession offenses. Third, the federal government currently classifies marijuana as a Schedule I substance, the same as heroin and LSD, and more serious than fentanyl. It makes no sense. So I'm asking the Secretary of Health and Human Services and the Attorney General to initiate a process to review how marijuana is scheduled under federal law. Even as federal and local regulations of marijuana change, important limitations on trafficking, marketing, and underage sales should stay in place. Too many lives have been upended because of our failed approach to marijuana. It's time that we right these wrongs.
So let's go ahead and go through the questions. First of all, I want to make it perfectly clear this is on a federal level. He doesn't have the power to do state level. That's the governors. He is going to urge the governors to do it, but he can't make them. This is federal. It's simple possession of marijuana. So it's not selling of and all that. It's simple possession of marijuana. The second question is, well, are you really pardoning them? Are you really letting them go? The answer is yes. This is a pardon. They're letting them out. Well, if they let them out, then how come none of them is left? Here, Anna, is where the catch comes in at. If they're pardoned, why are you not letting them out of jail/prison? This is where my research came in at. Because there was nobody there. They stopped prosecuting at a federal level a long time ago. They don't do it. They just stop. So there's nobody to let out because they stopped prosecuting a long time ago. They're just done with it. So,
was it because the states had too much control within that it became not worth it?
I think it's for the simple fact that the states, if you want to look at it politically, they said that if you want to look at it politically, yes. The states had so much control over it, it was up to them in a way. So what's the point of doing it at a federal level? If you want to look at the reality of it, and I know this is hard to do because we're talking about Biden, but we are talking about federal. We're going, dude, we got better things to do with our time than to prosecute people for simple possession of marijuana, where it's going to be legal eventually in this state. So why are we wasting our money and time and manpower on something that shouldn't be? So they just stop doing it. It's like, it's not worth it. And we know how states are. We got to look at the money. We got to look at the bottom line. We're not going to waste our money on something that just, even at the end, is not that big of a deal. So the next step is the rescheduling of marijuana. Like what he just said, it's on the same level as cocaine, crack, LSD. I mean, it's on the same level. Biden cannot reschedule marijuana. He can, however, ask for what he said, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, to reschedule it. Make it non-existent, basically. Now, would they do it at the level of cigarettes? I don't know. You know, where you have to be 18 to even do it. That's why I was saying the level of cigarettes. It's not, it's only illegal at a certain age.
They might do it more with alcohol and keep it at 21. A lot of states are 21 and older.
Yeah, they're going to put an age restriction on it. So it's only illegal if you're under this certain age to do it. That is more realistic than them just saying, nope, open drug, everybody can do it at any age. But I don't see that's happening.
Yeah.
So that's what my research has gotten. So, Anna?
Impressive research. Because I was looking at, nobody was coming out. So I do stand corrected at that. I don't see a lot of governors doing anything. You know, that it was purely a suggestion from Biden. It's all it could be. But they're going to probably show in along party lines that we're not doing what he says. I wish people would understand what a medicine this herb is, that it causes less traffic trouble than alcohol, where it is legal, that there are lots of ways to tax it and get money into schools, get money into infrastructure, get money into places that you need it. But stop thinking that one little toke is going to lead you, and then, oh man, I'm really going to be jonesing for some heroin tomorrow. It just doesn't work that way.
And it gets me with Trey, and Anna, I know I always said this. So if you're going, marijuana is going to lead to harder drugs. Isn't alcohol a drug? So why haven't you ever said that will lead to heroin, LSD, meth?
Not even.
Oh, because you could actually tax that.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny part about it is you actually learn from history. You actually learn from prohibition. You actually learn what happened when you did remove alcohol from society, and it was, excuse me, Tracy, a shit fest because poor people started making more money doing illegal things, making their own alcohol, opening up speakeasies and bars and everything, and you couldn't catch them, or you couldn't control them, or you couldn't control them,
Or you were on the tape.
or you was on the tape. So instead of fighting against them, let's get our money back. Let's tax them again.
Yeah, without prohibition, you never would have had the Kennedys. I mean,
You wouldn't have had the Kennedys. You wouldn't have had the Trumps. You wouldn't have had any of these people.
yeah. This is one I don't like being asked about because I know my views. Atheist.
Hey, Thea.
No.
My views on the legalization of marijuana, I'm like, yeah, I know what I think isn't popular, so I just kind of sit this one out and just learn. Because I'm like, part of it makes sense, and then part of it to me doesn't make sense. But that's coming from, how I was raised, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about what Biden is doing, it's like, man, stop. It's like Mickey said, it's just crumbs. It's only 6,500 people we're talking about. There are millions of people in jail right now that are on it for marijuana charges. Are we serious? I mean, and he knows good and well, look, you guys live in what? Carolina's a purple state and Washington's a blue state. Indiana is already, there's no way our legislatures are going to make marijuana legal. There's no way it's going to happen. And he knows that. I'm going to meet with the guy. They're not going to meet with him. He knows they're not going to meet with him. I don't like this. Well, I'm going to try and blah, blah. Just do nothing. It's like he's not for anything that he says. His failure is intentional.
Okay.
It's getting on my last nerves. And unfortunately, this is just one example of many examples. I'm like, you just doing the least. And when I say the least, I mean the least thing you could do. That's what this was.
A crumb for the election.
Because what you could
we still
do,
care.
Yeah, what you could do if you wanted to make, since you signed the budget, you could punitively punish states that don't legalize marijuana. You could do that. You could say, okay, if you don't want to legalize it, we're not going to give you X amount of money. We'll give more money to the states that do make it legal.
Wow.
He could. I'm not saying it's the smart idea. I'm saying he could if he signs the budget.
Every crime, whether stoned or not. Stop
babying addicts and stop scapegoating them too. Okay, I'm not
following
I think all three of us are like, huh? But
no, I think I know what he's saying.
Okay, well, help me out on it.
Yeah, help us, because we like, what, man?
They prosecute every crime whether you're stoned or not. And yes, and put it back up, please.
Okay.
But there's not marijuana addicts running around, are there?
Yes.
Oh,
because Anna just said that marijuana isn't addictive like tobacco is and like alcohol is.
Here. I'm sorry, Anna. Let me just say this real quick. Addicts are addicts regardless of what anything is. If there's something that you enjoy enough that you're willing to lose your friends, your family, your job, your house, and your money over, it doesn't matter what the drug is. Because it's the equivalent of saying, I'm an addict of marijuana. So marijuana is bad. Okay, so what do you call alcoholics? What do you call people who's on meth real hard? So no, I'm not going to use that. We don't want addicts going around depending on what the drug is. It doesn't matter. And that more to me is it's a mental thing, because I can sit there and say you could be an addict to cigarettes, because anybody who sits there and smoke 4 or 5 packs of cigarettes a day,
Yeah, that's an addict.
Dude, that's
That's
an
an
That's
addict.
addict.
clearly an addict. That's
That's
a
an addict. So it doesn't
Mhm.
matter what the substance is. If you are addicted to a certain thing, regardless of the situation, regardless of what it is, you're an addict. You can't control that. You got people, I even go as low as saying, when you see somebody who is constantly on their phone, 24 hours, they wake up, the first thing they do is grab their phone. They go to work, they're in the car, they're driving up the street, they're looking at their phone. They at work and they're sneaking to look at their phone, knowing they ain't supposed to. They on their break, they're in their phone. They're looking at their phone on the way home, still driving. They get home and look at their phone. They look at their phone before they even go to bed. I even go one step further. They have to look at their phone before they go to bed. That's an addict.
You just described a lot of people.
yeah.
That's an addict. When you lose your phone and then you next thing you lose your mind. So it's not a drug thing. You can be addicted to anything that's unhealthy, anything that changes your life or your lifestyle. And it's the most simplest thing in the world. You're willing to give up everything for this object. That's addiction.
There are many people that believe we should just get rid of the legal penalties on all drugs. Addicts deserve help. They don't deserve prison. And there's a program right now that's running and working in Oregon. Washington is trying, but we have some Republican state senators to worry about. But I very much agree with what Theus was saying. Don't coddle them, don't give them, just deal with it.
Because people are gonna do marijuana whether I like it or not like it. People are just gonna be people.
And not everybody's going to be streaking through the
I'm in
neighborhood.
trouble because I went through the draw. Yeah, me too, Binky. I had serious issues last night. I'm like,
Oh, bruh. Okay, but as an example, yes, you can use that as addiction. As Susan said, thank you for bringing it up. Sex addiction, porn addiction.
Mm-hmm.
You can make anything to be an addiction. We just always put addiction towards alcohol, towards crack, towards marijuana, towards cocaine, towards substances that the government can prosecute you on. You got the traditional system. So they have to have a certain thing. You drink and drive, we're going to put you in jail. It's wrong, by the way. I'm not downplaying. Like, please do not do that. But you notice again, alcohol, drinking in public while intoxicated. That's an addiction.
I mean, people make jokes about getting drunk, and I'm always like, why y'all making jokes? That's not funny. That's scary. People are like, I got drunk. I'm a little tipsy. No, you're drunk.
Yeah, stop that tipsy crap.
I'm to know you're drunk, and then you're gonna have a headache. And yeah, I agree with that. Don't.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get drunk in your own home, feel free. If you want to get drunk and then drive a weapon down the street.
Yeah, like once you step off that porch into the public, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem.
That's just nah. That ain't cool. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, but I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, man, they just be trying to lose. I'm like, this could have been a whole lot easier if he did. There was like a whole bunch of other options with this he could have did.
He
And
could have did
just,
a whole bunch of
I'm
stuff.
like, dude, you.
He could have been the mafia and go and stick a gun in the governor's face.
No,
and go
he
do
didn't
it.
say no. That's not what I'm saying. He had more options. He had more options at his arsenal than what he exercised.
I'm pulling
Pulling a trigger is not one of the options that he had. So don't be putting words in my mouth. That is not what I said.
I'm pulling a Trump. You go to do what I tell you to do.
That is not. No, because you know there's states there. There's Kentucky, Indiana, and Tennessee.
Look, the deal is states gonna do what states gonna do. They ain't gonna change their mind whether Biden tell them or not.
Now, if Trump said make it legal, oh well, now all of a sudden it's the greatest idea.
Yeah, the red states will do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, not the blue. The blue will go out of their way not to do what Trump.
Yeah,
asked
then
them
the
to
blue
do.
states. This is where I just get so frustrated with the whole thing. But no, Biden did not have holding a gun to the governor's head as one of his options. I was not suggesting that or saying that.